There's only so much hope.
Okay, everybody, have a seat. Chance, have a seat, get your Bible, have a seat. Okay? That's it. So we know the prompt. Have a seat.
I'm gonna do the Teddy Roosevelt thing today. See how many people.
What's up, you carry me sick?
That was just gonna beat the crap out of somebody that disagreed with
You see the political party in that? You stepped across the, 39 giant table, big stick club.
Heavenly Father, we welcome you into this house. Come and join us. Bring your Holy Spirit upon us that we may have understanding, study. We may gain insight and understanding that applies in our lives. We ask this in Jesus' name. Started losing my voice last week. If it had something to do with teaching, Tuesday. I just talk soft, and still saying. So, we were reading the events of Moses and Aaron as God guides them as much as they led the people of Israel through the desert. Well, how does one interpret such events? For I try to associate the events of then to the events of now. You ever heard those who do not learn from history are doomed to repeat it? Well, see, I disagree with that because I think history repeats itself regardless if you learn from it or not. I just think this whole idea is that don't make the same stupid mistakes twice. If you're going to do something stupid once, yeah, there's a lot of stupid people. In America, in my opinion, has far more stupid people than the rest of the world. That's only evident by our political people.
You said God must love stupid people, but he sure made enough of them.
Yeah.
I think God made them. They're self-made people.
And the Israelite people thought they were self-made as well. So,
What are we doing?
Exodus 16. So, see, when I read the Bible, I don't read I read the storyline, try and grasp the whole story, not so much the verses in between, because it's a story to be read, and there's how the people behave and acted. They're the same as the people today. You know, Moses leads the Israelite people out through the desert. We covered last Sunday before, but they wandered to and fro, right? And I think that much like today, a lot of the people there are like, are we going here? Why do we have to go over there? You know, they weren't privy to the whole game plan. And if you ever worked with a bunch of people that think they need to know every single detail that goes on, every single thing, you know that you'll run into these people who will go, why are we doing that? Why we got to do that? Why we got to do that? And a lot of times it's kids that do it because they want to know everything about everything. You don't have to know everything about everything. And God proves that whenever He guides us in our lives. You know, with the Israelite people, He had to do that for a reason. He just didn't tell them why they were doing it.
All wrote we want on me.
Well, unfortunately, as human beings, life to walk, life's like, they have to say, well, seeing is believing, as the saying goes. You know, a lot of people say, well, faith is believing without seeing. Well, God had them wander in the desert aimlessly because His plan was to make the Egyptians believe that they had no idea what they were doing. They were confused, they were scattered, it would be easy pickings. We covered that 2 Sundays ago. And then whenever the Egyptian army got close, he parted the Red Sea, and they came across on dry land, and as they got to the other side, the waters fell back upon the Egyptian army. So he took away the threat that they thought was evidently coming after them. So here is, I wrote a synopsis story here about this. Says that human nature is to find an excuse so we don't have to face our fears. And we don't face our fears because we fear that we will have to face them alone. A lot of times when we have to face a fear, we fear that we don't have any comfort. But you see a lot of them, they say when somebody's facing an obstacle that they don't know if they can overcome it. You see it a lot of times in some movies. Somebody goes, "Come on, let's get it." You turn around, everybody behind you go. Right? So they feel that you're facing it alone. Yeah, Moses had the same problem. Moses was called when to go and speak to Pharaoh. It was his first thing. He said, "Oh, I don't talk to him. I have a wild tongue. I think I talk to this guy that can't say words." So God's, "Well, get your brother Aaron." That man never shuts up. He's always talking. He never has a word. He always finds the words. So what do they do when he got in front of Pharaoh? Is Aaron doesn't say a word. He got in front of Pharaoh and Moses did all the talking. Because he had confidence and comfort in the fact that his brother Aaron was there with him. I guess he felt that if I can't find words, that guy never shuts up. He's going to be like, seriously. He was right there with me. So I'm not alone. But the thing was, Moses was never alone. He just didn't realize he was never alone. Israeli people thought they were all alone in the desert. They were never alone. Now, unfortunately, human beings, being the sight people that we are, and the touchy-feely people that we are, a lot of them are like, well, if I can't feel it, it ain't feeling it. If I can't see it, it's there. Even though these Israeli people sat through miracle upon miracle upon miracle, right? Vegetation of frogs, gnats and flies, water turned to blood, you know. And they saw it happening. It's not for them. They saw it happening to all the Egyptians. They just, so I mean, how can you not? How can you honestly say to yourself, "There's a miracle happening in front of you"? It's that evident, and not see it. So anyways, he got him into the desert, and then he parted the water. And yet, they still cried out and said that, "Yeah, you brought us all the way out here to die. We don't have any food." Right? And Moses, Exodus 16, it talks about God sent them food. Now, when he sent them, here in 16, it says the whole Israelite community set out from Elim, came to the desert of Sin, which is between Elim and Sinai, and on the 15th day of the second month after they had come out of Egypt. Now, it doesn't tell you like what month that is. It doesn't tell you. It just says the 15th day of the second month after they left. I couldn't find it. But anyways, it says there, in the desert, the whole community grumbled against Moses and Aaron. The Israelites said to them, "If only we had died by the Lord's hand in Egypt." It just sounds like one. Woe is me, Eeyore. Woe is me, I can't find my tail. So here they are complaining every little thing, and I can only imagine, God sitting there going, shaking his head, But he said, then we sat around pots of meat and ate all the food we wanted. He said, there we sat around pots of meat and ate all the food we wanted, but you had brought us out to this desert to starve this entire assembly to death. Now, they were under captivity. Okay? Now, I don't know about you, but even though you had 3 square meals a day and a bed to live in or sleep on, you're behind walls of Constantine wire and cement. Is that freedom? No different than a caged animal. You know, throw a chunk of meat, let them wander around in the cage. Throw a chunk of meat, give them some water to drink. It's the same thing. You may think you're free, but you're not. They weren't free. Yeah, they were given food to eat, bare minimum. I mean, when you get starved to death and somebody throws you a cracker, you're thinking, oh wow, this is awesome. So you got to actually picture where you're at, what you're doing. Being in captivity doesn't make you free. But then a lot of people say that I'm free because I think I'm free, even though I'm behind walls. Walls don't make me captive. Spiritually, mentally, you can be free, but your body isn't. And that's what they're focusing on here. They're focusing on their physical beings, not their spiritual being. They're looking at, hey, you brought us out here. You know, at least back then I had, garden units. Say, hey, let me eat it. The last bite of this sandwich, I got something to eat. Here I have nothing. So the Lord said to Moses, I will rain down bread from heaven for you. People are to go out each day and gather enough for that day. This way I will test them to see whether they'll follow my instructions. So on the sixth day, they are able to prepare what they bring in. And on that day, it will be twice as much together than on the other days, because the Sabbath is to remain holy, not to work. So whenever they sent them out to gather food, they were only to gather what they could use for one day. If you were told there's a pile of money, go take what you need just for today, how much would you gather? You gather as much as you can carry, you take extra. You just take the bare minimum. How much did you immediately buy? You spend $100 a day.
Just a couple thousand.
And how close I was from home.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that you always think of more than what you need. That's what God's testament here. He said, only take what you need. So Moses and Aaron said to all of the Israelites, in the evening you will know that the Lord who brought you out of Egypt. And in the morning you will see the glory of the Lord, because he has heard your grumbling against him. Now I think that's a nice way of saying he heard you complaining, bittering. He's tired of hearing it, so he's going to give you something to eat. Just like the guards gave you something to eat. You want to feel like you're in captivity? Or just want to show you what it's really like to not be in captivity, but give you the feeling of being in it. So, it says, who are we that you should grumble against us? Moses also said that you would know that it was too many pages. The Lord, when he gives you meat to eat in the evening, all of the bread that you want in the morning, because he has heard your grumbling against him. And Moses told him, say to the entire Israelite community, come before the Lord, for he has heard your grumbling. Yeah, see, a lot of complaining. Unfortunately, I think that's a lot of the stereotype that people put on the Jewish people. I've heard it many times, that they complain and complain and complain. But I don't hold these people. I hear that about old people too. Older than most of us. While Aaron was speaking to the whole Israelite community, they looked toward the desert, and there was the glory of the Lord appearing in the cloud. And the Lord said to Moses, I have heard the grumbling of the Israelites. Tell them, at the twilight you will eat meat, and in the morning you will be filled with bread, and you will know that I am the Lord your God. That evening, quail came and covered the camp. And in the morning, there was a layer of dew around the camp. When the dew was gone, thin flakes of frost, like frost on the ground. Thin layers, a layer of dew around the camp. When the dew was gone, thin flakes, like frost on the ground, appeared as in the desert floor. And the Israelites saw it, and they said to each other, what is this? They did not know what it was. Moses said to them, it is the bread the Lord has given you to eat. I don't know about you, but bread disappeared on the ground, the dew left. I'd be kind of a little skeptical about eating it, but as soon as you try it, one thing I learned in many travels that I've done around the world, if buddy of mine told me, he says, like we was in Japan, and couldn't read the menu, so Japanese, they don't have it in English. Also, it's just a Japanese. He said, just point at something, when it comes, if you like it, eat. Don't like it, tell them, no, I want something different. They understand this, they understand this. So, and I found out that I like octopus, and I like, I don't know what the word is, something. Look like stones, jelly beans or something, they were eggs, they were good. I eat anything.
Yeah, I think there's too many things on the menu you point to, not like.
Yeah. That's why I keep my thin fingers. Yeah. Because, I only eat healthy. I call it healthy, but other people call it something else. And I eat just about everything. I told somebody I should be a food critic. So if I don't like it, you know it's gotta be bad. And, that's not really.
As long as it don't look like a chip, that.
Alpo, if you're really hungry, Alpo's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Trust me. I mean, it knows dog food. I did after the fact, but like I said, I hear there's bread on the ground. I'm like, what's that? It's Moses goes, well, that's bread that God gave me. I wonder how many people that, ain't no way I'm eating that. But one person went up and goes, one person out of the crowd went up and goes, wow, this is awesome. We were in Israel. I was in Israel, right? They microwave their sort of processing for pasteurization is not microwaves. So that the milk lasts long. You don't have to refrigerate. They had goat milk and lamb milk. We got a whole bunch of it on the boat. Well, the fact that I eat or drink most anything, the guys were like, I'm not eating that. So my plate was full, and I had like 4 cartons of milk around me. Because they don't want to drink it. And after a while, somebody else tried it, and I was like, I'm screwed. I don't get to have as much as I want now. They found out, hey, this is really good. Well, the same thing here with this manna. That's what they called it, Rob. Yeah. God gave them manna to eat. So Moses said to them, it is the bread the Lord has given you to eat. This is what the Lord has commanded. Each one is to gather as much as he needs. Take an omer for I'm trying to tell you, it says omer of hay. That is probably about 2 quarts or 2 liters an omer. For each person that you have in your tent. So that's how much you prescribe for each person, right? The Israelites did as they were told. Some gathered much, some little. And when they measured it by the omer, he who gathered much did not have too much. While he who gathered little did not have too little. Each one gathered as much as he needed. And Moses said to them, no one's to keep any of it until morning. Okay. However, some of them paid no attention to Moses. Big surprise there. And they kept part of it until morning, but it was full of maggots and began to smell. So Moses was angry at them. Rightfully so, because if you ever gave company instructions on how to do something, and you see them doing it wrong numerous times, so the guy at work said, I think I have a lot of patience. So if I blow up that chain, you exceeded that patience. So I don't like to yell. So if you're going to be stupid, I'm going to point it out. So try not to be stupid. Each morning, everyone gathered as much as he needed. When the sun grew hot, it melted away. On the 6th day, they gathered twice as much, 2 for each person. And as the leaders of the community came and reported this to Moses, he said to them, this is what the Lord commanded. Tomorrow is to be the day of rest, a holy Sabbath to the Lord. So bake what you want to bake, and boil what you want to boil. Save whatever is left and keep it until morning. Majority of the communities do that still today. They don't believe in working on the Sabbath. They don't do anything on the Sabbath. This was distorted, as many things that we talk about today. You read verbatim for word. Your interpretation is often skewed as to what is truly meant by God. Because if you notice in the New Testament, Jesus was tested by the Pharisees saying that David's men ate, or your disciples were gathering grain on the Sabbath and eating. And he brought up a story that said that if a shepherd on the Sabbath loses one of his sheep, because he doesn't go get it, he still does his job on the Sabbath. He still, they still work. It's just God's telling you to take a day off. 6 days is enough. Today we eschew the Sabbath, and a lot of businesses say, well, we work 7 days a week. Right? We work 6 days a week, you can have 1 day off. I'll give you Wednesday. I'll give you Friday. They just manipulate this. It's a benefit for them. And they say, well, you're allowed 1 day off to practice your Sabbath. It doesn't say it has to be on Sunday. That's the way they skew it today. I'll give you Monday evening off, Tuesday morning, it's a day. Yeah, it's, America has this, what they call it, the Bible Belt. And that's mostly for alcohol. There's no alcohol in the Bible Belt. And some of the states are non-alcoholic states. You can't, they call them Blue Belt, states. But I think that generally the American people, population have gone away from, you have a day off, you don't work 7 days, but like I said, well, corporations go, well, it doesn't have to be on Sunday. I can bring you in Sunday evening, as long as I give you Saturday evening to Sunday morning to Saturday evening, how long is a day? I'll give you 23 hours, I'll give you 22 hours, and you just keep going back. Keep manipulating the word Sabbath day, to be as a length of time as a day. So, but when I look at this whole picture now, I look at it as God gave them will to eat, God gave them manna to eat, but they weren't satisfied.
It's manna.
Bread.
Doesn't say.
Yeah, it's heavenly bread. That's what they called it, the bread that God gave them. When the dew settled, dew on the ground, when the dew dried up, there was manna.
Somewhere in the book of Psalms, it says they ate the angels' food.
Never eat manna. Never eat manna. In some places I've heard people say that it's like unleavened bread.
That's what they say. I mean, I don't think it says in the Bible what it was.
It just says they call it manna. And I've never found anything.
I just figured that food he showed up and said, man, I'm hungry.
She just said, when we get to heaven, we're gonna be like you. We're gonna like everything we eat. There's a good
They better have my
reason.
favorite sandwich.
I hope not.
Me too.
Dude,
I don't tell people.
I've seen some of the stuff he
I
eats.
told you before, and that's
Yeah,
just
I heard
nothing.
about some of the stuff he ate.
And octopus isn't good.
Oh, I love it.
And every family has one.
Dip it in butter and
It's the
salt.
best for you.
Oh, we had to have somebody eat table
I
scraps
like
too.
it too.
Yeah.
I like lobster.
Yeah, my grandson.
I like lobster, but I don't like squid.
I like squid.
I don't.
Oh, what am I saying? What am I saying? I like it.
Yeah.
It's something.
It's easier for me to say what I don't like.
See, it's like chewing on an ear or two.
I told, when I was down south once, I told this girl, I said, I don't like black eyed peas. I said, I think they're ugly food. She goes, I've been eating them all my life. I said, don't blame me.
Did you get slapped?
No,
It's like
it's
grits.
a good thing to choose a big girl.
Like grits either.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Love grits.
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 That's when you take two pieces of sandpaper, rub them together, and that's what you get.
Yeah, but if you put a big chunk of bacon in big slab of butter in the center of it, salt and pepper. It's
Then you're
I
gonna
think you
pull
bought
the
some
grease.
Just- You know what you do? Just eat the bacon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm hungry by this lesson.
Grits only tastes like what you put in it.
I think that's what everybody has for lunch.
I'll pass.
Grits,
Grits, yeah.
and no self-respecting southerner does instant grits.
That's all right.
Not all
My
southerners
cousin
eat
did it,
grits.
20 minutes.
Not all southerners eat grits.
Only the
Some of them
southern.
some of them like porridge and cottage and stuff like that.
That's like
Where I
cornmeal.
was at,
Used to make fried mush. Most disgusting thing. I don't eat cornmeal on a pan. That's they use to, on like when you have the shuffleboard, the pucks and slide. They use cornmeal to make it a slide.
Yep.
Of course, that's all it's good for. That's floor sweepings. That's what grease is.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, I've eaten my fair share of dirt. So. I've probably eaten somebody else's fair share of dirt.
When they say the average person eats a bushel of dirt a year, then gets his all over with it one.
Says, nevertheless, some people went out the seventh day to gather, and they found them. And the Lord said to Moses, how long will you refuse to keep my commands and instructions? It says, bear in mind that the Lord has given you the Sabbath. That is why on the sixth day he gives you bread for 2 days. And everyone is to stay where he is on the seventh day. No one is to go out. So the people rested on the seventh day. That's a day of rest. I could use that day. You just can't get enough naps in a day.
And this next verse, it tells what man against.
And I have a chair at home.
And the next verse, it tells what
If I have a chair at home, as soon as I sit down, it disengages the brain. And I'm asleep in seconds. I love that chair.
Well, Mormons don't do anything on Sunday. I mean, they don't shop, they don't.
Yeah, I work with some people who do anything every day. People of Israel called it bread manna. Oh, here it says, manna means what it is. Manna means, what is it? I guess you know, that's what they call manna.
It says-
What's that?
It says it right there, it's like white coriander seed with.
Well, no, in the little thing on the bottom here, too. It said it was, white, like coriander seed, tasted like wafers made. That sounds pretty good.
Oh, it sounds like that wafers we take over the evening, and that ain't good.
Yeah,
A little bit of peanut butter
add
and
some
jelly.
cheese. Put some hot sauce on it. Moses said, this is what the Lord has commanded. Take a number of manna and keep it for generations to come, so that they can see the bread that I gave you to eat in the desert when I brought you out of Egypt. So Moses said to Aaron, take a jar, put a number of manna in it, and place it before the Lord to be kept for generations to come.
Didn't they put manna in the,
So that was the earliest canning.
so I wonder if that would be something like, we call pemmican? Pemmican? You can make it, it's made with,
Coriander.
yeah, they like seeds and you can like dry meat and grind that and it's supposed to last forever. It's like a survival.
So Moses was the first, Moses and Aaron were the first to bring canning. They took a jar, put manna in it, sealed it, put it before the Lord. God preserved it for generations. Yeah, and it's been good for preserve the family for a long time.
You know, they have that sticky bread that you make with starters, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, the sourdough.
Yeah, them starters smell bad,
Yeah.
but they've been around forever.
Yeah, you always keep
You always keep
Make
part of
sourdough,
it for
you
the
keep-
next one.
a portion of it to make the next batch.
I knew a fellow from Louisiana that did that with gumbo. He made what they called the roe, where they called the base. He would take a jar of it,
The roux.
take a jace, the jar, and put some of it off to the side.
Yeah.
And then when he made it the next time, he would pour that back in, mix it all up, and then take another jar of it and put it off to the side. He said it keeps the flavor. I don't know.
It's will.
I like combos. I like everything. I don't care for pinto beans or dry.
to your human garbage disposal.
Amen. So, Moses said to Aaron, take a jar and put an omer of manna in it, and place it before the Lord to be kept for generations to come. As the Lord commanded to Moses, Aaron put the manna in front of the testimony, that it might be kept. The Israelites ate manna for 40 years, until they came to the land that was settled. They ate manna until they reached the border of Canaan. Numbers 1:10 from that point. Now, 40 years eating the same food. It was on deployment, and we got back on the last week and a half of the deployment. We were out for 10 months, and we were at the last bit of food. All we had was ham with it, right? So they bake it, broil it, just like pork chop, and barbecue, and put barbecue sauce on it, boil it, fry it, whatever, just to make it taste a little bit. I don't know how they did that with man for 4 years.
My kids used to complain about having potatoes.
Certain time of year, eat potatoes every day for months.
You're supposed to eat potatoes every day.
No, that was it, potatoes.
That one day was fries, the next day was curly fries, and potato wedges, and baked potatoes.
One day, oh, we had one today, anything but potatoes.
But we got back on deployment. One guy said he got in his house. His wife goes, I just made the ham for dinner. He doesn't. He said he took it in the garbage can. He goes, oh, no. I said, well, to me, that was kind of rude. That's wasted food. I mean, I don't care if you eat ham for 40 years. I could eat ham another day. I like it. There's stuff that I like. I just
Yeah, but that's ham. If you had to eat bread, just bread,
well, they ain't good.
some kind of bread.
And you got all that time that you lived in Egypt, in the desert, and you had, obviously you grew some food. You know? So for 40 years, you didn't know how to grow food.
In the
Oh,
desert,
yeah.
in the desert might be kind of rough.
Well, the desert isn't just sand. People think the desert is just sand. It's not.
What else is it?
Dirt. There's dirt in the desert. There's water in the desert. All right? When you think desert, you just think sand, but it's not just sand. You ever been to the desert? Been to
No,
the
we don't
beach?
intend to.
Been to the beach?
Yeah, but
There's dirt in the beach. There's water. It's not the desert, but there is water in the desert. You know, some places.
You're not convincing anybody, brother.
Yeah, I've been in the desert. I've been in the desert on horse with Notre Dame.
Just so it's a garden.
Yes, home oasis. But there is, those things do exist. Otherwise, I mean, they have Arabs that live in the desert. How would they have survived all these years without those things?
apparently manna.
Man, it must be pretty awesome. That's what I'm saying. It's very man. But reading all of this with the man in their quilt, right, complaining, right, you come to the conclusion that God has a lot of patience. Right?
Yeah.
And evident of that is that how old was Adam when he died? In good order. Well, he was old. But he was dead before the flood. Because it doesn't tie together. But Adam was 900 years old. That's 900 years of patience. Okay? And Noah was 600 years old when the flood came. And they said estimated it was 1,656 years from the time of Adam to the flood. That was 2,000 years, 1,500 and some years of patience. You know? And I've been people that their patience grows thin in a matter of seconds, depending on what child is around, and, or what a dog is around.
Stop talking about nothing.
That's why I turned around those years.
Yeah, kids get on my nerves.
Yeah, that's why they're in the back. I was saying, you always got to put it that person.
That woman got patience of a saint.
Yeah,
You
she just doesn't. She disconnects.
know what? If I had her grandchildren, I'd kill them a long time.
Oh yeah. Yeah, but you notice what she complains about.
Yeah, but we had to live with her at one time. didn't have any patience then.
Ooh,
When we were growing up, she didn't have any.
Well,
You guys
because
call
she
it
was
starters.
older and you guys give her a lot of crap.
No, we didn't.
I didn't give her any credit. Nothing she didn't ask for.
She was pretty feisty. I'll give her that.
I'll agree with you.
Well, she was married to Clyde, so.
So, the next thing they come across here is the whole Israelite community set out from the desert of Sin, which, that just got sound. Traveling from place to place as the Lord commanded, and they camped at Rephidim. There was no water. There was no water from the drinks of their horse. They quarreled with Moses. And they said, give us water to drink. Like he kept it in his back pocket.
Water come out of the rock.
So if the people were thirsty for water, people were thirsty for water there, and they grumbled against Moses, and they said, did you bring us out of Egypt to make us and our children and livestock die of thirst? As always, did you bring me out here to die? You just got manna, you got quail, you know, they complained about food. God gave them a lot of food, maybe 40 years ago. It must have changed taste. 40 years.
Just need something to wash down that dry bread.
Yeah. Yeah. Imagine if probably like Mrs. Peach and Charlie Brown, whenever they came to, you know, trying to talk with crackers. Moses cried out to the Lord, what am I to do with these people? They are almost ready to stone me. I was just complaining to him. Instead of, I've been like, shut up. You know, that's better than not shut up. Hey, God's been doing all this stuff for you people, and all you do is complain. Do something for yourself. How about doing rain dance? Do something. Bring out your clothes. Drink that. I've been, at this point, my patience would have been really dead.
Kind of like,
Before the hospitals.
kind of like the government. You
Yeah.
send the people out and they want more. They want free stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And our government's the other way around. They take so much and then they want more. So it says, Lord answered Moses, just walk on ahead of the people and take with you some of the elders of Israel. Take in your hand the staff from which you struck the Nile, and go. And I will stand there before you by the rock of the Lord. Strike the rock, and water will come out of it for the people to drink. So Moses did this in the sight of the elders of Israel, and he called the place Massah and Meribah, because the Israelites quarreled because they tested the Lord, saying, is the Lord among us or not? Now, this is kind of poetic, I think. It's what they call poetic justice. Because God had to name it. I imagine if they had words like miserable, uncontent people, they'd have probably named it that. They named it, quarreling and unsatisfied people. They go, look at that stone going. Yeah, we complain too much. God gave us water. Way too much. He gave us oil and manna.
That's why you keep asking for more, you get what you ask for.
Yeah. So, the Amalekites came and they attacked the Israelites at Rephidim. That's what it said. So Moses said to Joshua, choose some of our men and go out and fight the Amalekites. Tomorrow we'll stand on the top of the hill with the staff of God in my hands. Joshua fought the Amalekites as Moses ordered. Moses, Aaron, and Hur went to the top of the hill. As long as Moses held up his hands, the Israelites were winning. Whenever he lowered his hand, the Amalekites were winning. Okay, now this to me is kind of like get that pep speech before the game. These people thought, they said, God's with Moses. So if we look we see that Moses is strong, God is with us, we can be victorious. People looked towards Moses for their inspiration. Again, they're not looking for God, they're looking for the I can see. So they're looking towards Moses for the inspiration. And every time Moses showed them he had strength, going like this, let's go, like a cheerleader on the sideline. Every time he had staff above his head, they're like, hey, God is with us. We are victorious. So they would thrive on and win. But when his hands became lower, the Amalekites looked at him and go, look, he ain't as strong as you think he is. Their God's wavering, weak. We have the victory. They would become victorious. Right? So what did they do? Said, but whenever he lowered his hands, the Amalekites were winning, and Moses' hands grew tired. They took a stone and they put it under him, and he sat on it. And Aaron and Hur held his hands up, one on one side, one on the other, so that his hands remained steady until sunset. So that Joshua overcame the Amalekite army with the sword. And the Lord said to Moses, write this on a scroll as something to be remembered, and make sure that Joshua hears it, because I will completely blot out the memory of the Amalekite from under heaven. There's no Amalekites today. There's a lot of generations of civilizations that are quite clean on the earth. And the only way you know they existed anyway is because somebody wrote down, we destroyed them.
And I think that's, Neanderthal. But you know, there's a lot of symbolism here. Moses is representing God, whatever. Aaron is the high priest, so his tribe becomes the priesthood. Hur was the tribe of Judah, so his tribe becomes the kings. If you check the books of Kings and Chronicles, you go to priesthood and kings, political rulers were true to God. Nobody could defeat Israel. They were on top. When one or the other sort of faltered, trouble started. They do the same thing today. The church, much of the organized church is possibly, they're coming steps over being private citizen. They're denying the headship of Christ. And this is going to bring them down. And those are the politicians that are going to get better.
Well, I think it's the, much like in the desert. It only takes so much. I mean, God set the standards with the Ten Commandments and the rest of the commandments set standards. Only take this much, right? And when they start taking more, things fall, right? You end up being, people being governed, people being ruled, in a sense. When you have somebody in charge, like a governor or such, it's only supposed to take a tenth. So to keep the country running, they take 20%. Okay? And line their pockets, not somebody else's pockets. Part of the biblical studies talks about nations prostituting themselves out to other countries. And the idea is that they didn't want to do their own battle. They just figured it was easier to pay armies from another country to fight their battles. And that is something that's, to do that, you have to take more than it takes to run the country. So you're taking more than what you're supposed to take, right? And it's spoiled money in a sense. So similarity there to the man in the desert. God tells him, only take what you need. And what it is, someone took more than they did. Or they tried to keep it longer than they were supposed to. And it didn't last. There, with the Amalekites, he said, write it down so that others will know what happened here, because they're not going to be around it. So they wiped out the Amalekites.
King Saul was supposed to write them out, remember? See the king, Amalekites, it's livestock.
Yeah.
So that stock.
Yes, I guess the whole thing is that the ability tells you.
Don't be saying that's the way.
Let's say similar, let's say that much like today, you know, you're told to do something when you're a kid. Go out and leave the garden. You may not do it in your garden, you're too busy picking the cucumbers and eating the tomatoes, whatever it is, and things out there. How come this road's not weeding? What excuse do you make? He already knows what you were doing. But unlike mom, she'd say, well, I knew what you were doing. But you already knew what you were doing. God already knows what you were doing. You know? So just do what you're told. When I first started my job down in Romat, the guy said, what'd you do before? And I said, well, I said in the military, I said, I was a supervisor. He goes, oh, so you're used to telling people what to do. I said, I don't like to tell people what to do. I said, you're a grown man. Do your own things, do your job. If you do your job, nobody has to tell you anything. So in this case here, it's like they were just do what they were told. They were told to gather this much manna, told to do this, told to do this. And Saturdays, or the day before the Sabbath, they were told to gather twice as much, right? And I'm sure some of them said, well, how come I couldn't gather twice as much yesterday? And how come I'm only allowed to grab twice as much today? Now they say that because I hear people say, I talk like that today. Like I said, history, people are always the same. So the same grumbling, so the same complaining. It's just thousands of years difference. People still act the same. Some people do. Some people change. Some people have to have a kick in the head before they change.
Sometimes it's called salvation. Every real kid.
But that's what I have for so far. So we'll close this in prayer.
Father, we thank you for this thing. Thank you for your presence here.